at Exit Motivation, Stage 2. Hi everyone, my name is Schunk. I'm currently on my second year teaching, and I teach high school math and APS. I'm also the softball coach at my school. I'm working to obtain my Master's of Arts in Teaching Secondary Math here at the University of West Georgia. During this presentation, I will be doing a short overview of motivation, Stage 1 acts of motivation, which include causal attribution and expectancy value theory. And I'll be doing an application experience reflection to bring together the two motivation incidences as a whole and connect them to the course content and the personal journey over the course. I'm hoping that this video will help others resolve motivation-related issues. When we think of motivation, we think of the influence we have on others and what we are doing to cause that. It can also be what one is doing to influence themselves. Motivation is a process rather than a product. It's the reason someone has for acting or behaving a certain way. We do not observe it directly. We reason its presence from actions and verbalizations or words. In Stage 1 of Acts of Motivation, we were asked to identify two motivational issues from either our personal or professional lives. Since I have used both, I will be using a different name to protect the identity of both individuals. Once those issues were identified, we were to choose from the three theories: expectancy value theory of motivation, causal attribution theory, or goal orientation theory, and reflect on their connections. We then describe the acts performed and the impact of our acts. Lastly, we reflect on the application with what we have learned over the course, what worked and what didn't, and the future plans in the acts of motivation. The first theory that was chosen was causal attribution theory. This was a process of trying to determine the causes of people's behavior. It is based on the idea that individuals are rational and conscious decision makers. It is based on two assumptions: belief that individuals are motivated to understand their environment and what causes particular beliefs. There are three dimensions, which include stability, locus, and control. Stability is the likelihood that the cause of the behavior will change over time. This can range from stable and unstable. Locus states an individual's belief in their behavior being internally or externally caused, while control is from the individual's eye of having control over behavior, cause, or situation. This can range from controllable to uncontrollable. There are three stages to determine the attribution. Like mentioned before, the behavior must be observed first. We then determine if it was intentional and determine if it was attributed to be internal or externally caused. If internal, it is based on own skill. If external, it is based on luck. Also, the achievement can be attributed to effort, ability, the level of task difficulty, or luck. This application was based on my student Kayla, who was in both my geometry support and on-level geometry course. Before beginning, I want to discuss the different classroom settings based on her particular classes. For geometry support, there are approximately 14 or less students in the class. For on-level geometry, there are approximately 25 to 30 students. Within both of those courses, there is an instructional coach that is there that works alongside me to provide instruction to the students. For geometry support, instead of having regular lessons, we use a software called Apex. This software has modules with course content that provide a learning which we go over as a class. It also provides practice problems as well as instructional videos for students to watch if they need the additional help. Within each lesson, there is a test that students must take. There's also a pre-test to see what students know prior to beginning the module, as well as a post-test. I also use outside resources as additional help for the support course to supplement the APEX materials. I do this to help with the engagement and not let my students feel blindsided or overwhelmed with the test. Kayla has always done fairly well on her outside resources and practice problems that are given by me, but when using APEX, her grades did begin to drop. I noticed the lack of effort being placed. I pulled Kayla aside since we were in her small group class, and I spoke with her regarding this matter. She began to state that she is not good in math and sometimes it's too much, and it can be a little overwhelming. When we do the problems together, she says they're easier, but on her own, it's too many steps and there are too many different formulas. With Kayla telling me these things, I knew that she had felt defeated already. There was no way that she saw herself performing well on any of her APEX modules. She believed that she did not have the ability to do the work, which is why she was performing very low. In Kayla's case, she was attributing her low grades to the perceived attribution of her ability to do math well. I classified this as internal, stable, but yet controllable attribution. She also made note that the others around her were also having difficulty completing their APEX modules because it was too hard. I classified this as external, stable, and uncontrollable attribution. Kayla believed that she did not have the ability or she was not capable to perform, which resulted in low effort. I focused my plan for Kayla on attribution retraining techniques. This is the process of changing an individual's perception of success and failure. She has a hard time learning new materials, but lack of effort was vital here. I sat and spoke with Kayla throughout this entire process. When we spoke during our first setting, I let her know that her cell phone usage during class was unacceptable. We also talked about the time that she spent talking to her classmates and the time that she wasn't paying attention. She also did not participate in any of the lessons. When I spoke with her regarding these issues, her typical response was that the work was too hard. I then let Kayla know that although I was her math teacher, and she would think that I'm a total expert and I know all there is, I too struggled sometimes, but that does not mean that we give up. I had someone willing to provide the extra help and support, just as I was trying to give to her. It's up to her to receive that, though. Following the conversation, I went through her most recent test kit from the APEX modules. As we went over the problems step by step that she had missed, she then realized that she did have the ability to do the math, although that it was very hard. Throughout the course, I would make sure that she remained on task. I would go around the room and check on all the students, but specifically, I would go to Kayla to ensure that she was holding herself accountable and she was getting the work complete. I would always give her positive feedback, just as simple as, "You got this," or "Keep up the good work." This would build her self-confidence. We would also meet once a week or twice a week to review her progress, and eventually this all paid off. Kayla made a 75 on her recent post-test. The next motivational theory that I took on was the expectancy value theory. This describes the relationship between a student's expectancy for success or the achievement of a goal in relation to the value of the task completion. It refers to the student's expectations for success on a given task. It also refers to the student's values, whether they want to do the task or not. There are 4 types of value: attainment value, which is the personal importance of doing the task; intrinsic value, which is the enjoyment one gets from the task and the interest the individual has for the subject; utility value, which is how well the current task relates to current and future goals, or the usefulness, and cost, which is the sacrifice or the amount of effort and time we exchange for this task. Now, I am a big math person, so when doing a little bit more research on this theory, I found the equation E times V equals M. Can you think what that means? This just means that a student's expectation of success multiplied by how much the student values the task or goal equals motivation. If either expectation or value is zero, then the student's motivation is also zero. For this application, I chose a more personal route. My daughter, Rylan, began playing softball when she was just 3 years old. She is now 5. Just like me and others in our family, we are definitely keeping this tradition going. Rylan doubted herself with her ability to play softball well. She mentioned that she did not think that she could hit the ball and that she couldn't throw or catch the ball. I know she has the ability to play softball and play it very well. She's very athletic for her age. I wanted her to change her belief, so I had to build her self-confidence to get her to believe in herself. Let's note that at this point, her expectancy is 0. I took a look at Rylan's values. She is only 5, but she is very smart, with lots of personality. My daughter's goals for herself at such a young age is to be the best that she can be. Sometimes she thinks everything is a competition. She wants to be a teacher, just like me when she grows up. So as you can see or imagine, I do have a little know-it-all. With value, I began to look at the 4 components. Attainment value is the importance of doing well on a task. Playing softball well is very important to Rylan. She would even get upset when she wasn't performing good. She likes the sport a lot, not just because I used to play, but because she has fun. So doing well is definitely a desire. This leads to intrinsic value. She is very interested in playing the sport, which comes from her enjoyment and having fun. Now, the usefulness of softball in terms of future goals is vague as of now, but it is used for her peer relations. She is an only child, so she needs the social aspect to build her personality and her social skills up. Lastly, there's cost, belief. The time spent on practicing was kind of slim because of how busy we were, from school to work to other outside activities, or just plain getting some rest. We had to make sacrifices to fit the time in for softball practice just for my daughter, even if we were just in the front yard. The cost of not practicing was giving up the time to play in her playroom and with dolls, which is very important to her. Ultimately, to increase Rylan's expectancy and belief, during the times of practice, I gave her positive reinforcement and feedback to all of her efforts. I would show her how softball ran in our family, even if that meant bringing her to my softball games or letting her watch me practice play, and even showing her old videos of her family members playing. This let her know that although even if it ran in our family, she had it in her as well. Me being present and providing her with the surety that she did have the ability boosted her self-confidence, which now meant her self-expectancy was not at 0 anymore. She already had some value becoming a better softball player, but the extra practice helped increase this even more, which meant motivation. Over the course of each application, some things worked while others didn't. For Kayla, her behavior was always an issue. From getting attitudes to talking back or just plain disrespect, getting her parents involved did not work at all. I did not get any response, but Speaking with her and building a bond helped in her case. She only needed someone to believe in her so that she could believe in herself. For my daughter, I had to leave the coaching side of softball to the side. I know that I can be a hard coach, and I only want the best for her. But she needed more of a mother. Some motivational strategies that worked would be setting clear goals, and in Kayla's case, creating a positive work environment. Also, when students and individuals feel comfortable in the space, they tend to work harder. I also provided immediate praise or positive feedback for accomplishments with both Kayla and Rylan. I also gave a lot of frequent feedback as well. I learned more about my students. Learning more about Kayla helped me reach her a lot. I understood her challenges and her strengths. In the future, I plan to help all of my students finish the school year well in geometry with these same strategies, as well as implement them with a few student-fitting alterations throughout my teaching career. I've also included some videos of my daughter. Here you can see she's actually reviewing her time playing softball. Here you can see she made a great catch. And she's even hitting the ball.